we're here for our Calm Kitchen chat and Q&A, and we've got today, we're going to start with something a bit different in that I've got a question about an app that I use called Paprika App, Paprika App, which I'll tell you a bit more about in a minute. I'm going to start with that. And then we have got a lot of team mini questions. Those of you with mini Instant Pots, which is definitely quite a few of you here. We've got a number of questions to go through on the mini. And then we've got a kind of crossover question about whole chicken. So we'll have a little session on that. And then we've got a couple of let's see, just a couple of other littler questions at the end. So as usual, I love to hear your questions, and I try to star them as we go along, and I try to answer your questions if I can, and the community here helps out as well, because some of you know far more than me about this stuff. But yeah, and sometimes, like last week, I missed one, and I'm sorry. It's quite hard doing all the kind of trying to manage everything on these lives, so forgive me if I miss one, and don't worry at all about going into the comments section and asking again or reminding me beyond our session today. So I'm Susan. We're here to try and kind of keep things a bit calm in the kitchen, not so hectic. And most of us are here because we find that Instant Pots are a big part of that, a huge part for me. So we do a lot of Instant Potting here, but not just that. And yeah, let's see how we get on. Now, let me just check the chat before I start and just see if I can star them before I go along. Oh, hi from Denmark, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for coming, all of you. Oh, lovely busy chat. Great to see. Okay, so let's make a start with this something a bit different. Some of you may know about this because I used to make a lot of videos about it, and some of you didn't, but might not. So I've got a question in, which is about this app called Paprika App. And the question was, how do I kind of back it up? And I've probably said in many of my Paprika videos, where I keep all the recipes I download online, that I do get worried sometimes that apps will disappear. I've put many recipes in there. So someone else with a similar question, kind of, are you able to keep a backup in some way of the recipes? I must have mentioned it in the video. So if you haven't seen it before, I'm not an affiliate, by the way. I just love this app, a bit like I love Instant Pots. If you haven't seen it, it's one of these recipe manager apps on. It is on Windows. I don't know how good it is on Windows, but on iPhone and Mac and stuff, it's on all of the kind of iOS platforms, is how I use it. And it's where I put my recipes, and it's also where I make notes on what recipes I might want to do for YouTube, or kind of save some off and start adapting them, all of that. And it's just, I've used lots of different ones, but I always come back to Paprika App, and I can't remember how many recipes I've got in there, but it's a lot. And it's one of those apps where I can have the New York Times recipes open, and I can click and it will download into my app, which is really great. I am a paid subscriber, but it feels like cheating somehow to get all these kind of apps into my own local system. So that's what it kind of, the main screen looks like. And then, unlike some of the others, it also is very good at doing things like meal planning. And at the minute, my life, I'm not getting meal planning done very well at all. Sometimes I get it done on a bit of paper, which I often do when life goes all over the place. I end up back with a bit of paper and what I call kind meal planning. There's a video about that somewhere. But anyway, when I'm more organized, I can use Paprika App and have these recipe plans that I can just download into a calendar that shows up on my phone and everywhere, and links to the recipe cards. So it sort of looks a bit like this, just to give you an idea what Paprika is. So for those of us who use it, because it also has a pantry function, which I used to, when I grew food, and I lived in a house where we had a lot of storage for food, and I did a lot of dehydrating and preserving. Everything was in my pantry within this app as well. And it also is one of those apps where you can send it off into your shopping list on your phone and stuff. So, you know, it's a good app. It does a lot of things, but people like me who use it a lot get a bit worried. Like, oh my goodness, what if it disappears and I lose my recipes? So I wanted to answer that today, is how I at least know that I've got my recipes. Get rid of that. So the answer is, can you make a backup? Can you kind of download recipes from Paprika app? And I made a little, yes, I've got a little video I'm hoping is going to show. Right, let's stop it a moment. Okay, so oh, this looks like it's playing halfway through. Let me just get it to the beginning. So if you're not interested in Paprika app, you can chat amongst yourselves. So Paprika app. So here's my Mac version. You won't be able to kind of read it all here because it's quite small. But basically, with Paprika app, I can export all of my recipes, or I can export just a subcategory of the whole database. So it depends how you use it, really, which way you'd want to go. But for a backup, I would do all of them. For the sake of showing you here, I'm just going to show you one category, and because it's the same process. So we choose where we want to be. And there's my categories down the side. And I've just clicked there on courgette. And this app, when I use it all the time, was when I was growing the food. And courgettes are also called zucchini, for those of you in the States and elsewhere. Courgettes, zucchini, same thing. And if any of you grow your own food, or you're home gardeners, you will know that we're always looking for zucchini or courgette recipes, because there's always a glut. So I've got loads of recipes in that section, 83 recipes that feature courgettes. So I chose that one to do this export. So I've clicked on courgette on the left there, my sub menu. And then you go up to the top menu, or in iPad, you go to settings, and file export is what you're looking for. File export. And I'm on my Mac here. Choose where you want to save it on your file system, just as with anything else. And you can choose your category in this bit, all recipes or other areas that you want to save. Here I'm laboriously scrolling down to courgette again. And you can, let me pause that a moment. Oh, I just clicked it backwards. Sorry, folks. Yeah, there. And if you're downloading for the purpose of you're worried about changing your iPhone or your computer or something, you can export into something called Paprika recipe format, and that means that you've got the whole database, and it's very easy to re-import it once you've got your new phone or something. It's all synced via iCloud, but it gives you a bit of peace of mind. So Paprika recipe format, if you want to do it like that. But if you're thinking, well, I want it in a format where I could look at my recipes even if Paprika disappears, and with the growth of AI and there's a lot of software, people are worried that people won't need their software anymore. So it is worth thinking about. You can choose instead to format it to HTML, which is sort of website language. So you can pick HTML here. And then you just click export. Let me show you what this looks like, because it's great. So I've exported 83 recipes, and then it just shows up as a folder on my hard drive or on your iCloud drive, whatever you're using. There's recipes and there's an index, and you can click on either of those. If I click on index, you'll see that this looks like a website, like I'm online, but it's actually a local use of Safari or Chrome or whatever you use. It's opening up my actual file that sits on my computer or on my iPad or iPhone. It can open that up, and then you can see your index of recipes, or you can just go into the folder, and then you can click on them from here. So if I click on one there, you can see that it's saved off the whole thing there in a readable form. And one of the things to know now, and many of you will know this, is that if I've got it in this kind of form now, where I could take a photo of it, a screenshot, it's just a kind of HTML file, it would be very easy to put that into an AI engine, and they would extract it into another form for you pretty easily with a bit of fiddling about. It's only going to get easier. So I think it's fantastic to have this kind of database. So you can just look at that, it's yours, save it off wherever you want, save a copy of it, and you can do it that way. So 2 ways to kind of back up. One is so that you could put it back into Paprika. In that case, you choose the Paprika file format. And then this way I'm showing you is a good way of knowing that you can actually just read your recipes wherever you are, and it downloads the whole thing beautifully formatted. So this is one of the better apps for exports I've found if you are into your recipe management. So for the person who wrote in about that, I hope that helps. If it's confusing, just leave me another comment and I will come back to you on that. So let's get this off out of the way, and I'll just come into the chat in case anyone has any questions about that. Friday social treat, isn't it? I consider it a Friday social treat too. Hi from Denmark. Hi there. Welcome. Oh, there's a question there about dump and go recipes. I'll come back to that one. Dimitri. Sorry, I'm not reading your name very well. They're very hard, these YouTube names, aren't they? Okay, got another question. Just starring off your questions. Okay, I don't think there's any questions on it. Yeah, if you said, I am very organised sometimes. Sometimes our organisation's a way of not doing things. Fiddling about organising, I can be like that. But what I found when I was in a very, very difficult situation a couple of years back, I really relied on these things I'd set up in advance. That's why I'm so big on giving gifts to your future self, because I just couldn't think straight at all. And so some of those meal plans and stuff in Paprika that I could then move, see what was in the garage, especially because I had a big pantry. I could see what food I already had in, not kind of during the pandemic, for instance, not rush out panic buying because I had enough food in. I'd been kind of tiny level homesteading really for quite a few years. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. That's me kicking over something. So yeah, I am very organised and I like organisation, and then I'm also not very organised. So a bit of both, probably like many of you. So let's go back to the questions. Let's move on to the next one. So we're now moving into Team Mini section for those of you with the Mini, which there's lots of you here. So our first question on the Mini. So this is the Mini 4-quart that we're talking about. When I say Mini, I don't have that 3-quart, 3-point whatever it is one. Quite a few of us here have got the new kind of 4-quart Mini. The question was, in a particular video, are the steam racks a 5-inch or 7-inch that I was using in that particular video? I was using one of my set of 3 trivets. This is the one I really love for the mini. This is 7 inches. No, this is 6.5 inches across. But that doesn't really matter. It was the height. It's all about the height with the mini. This is a great height. And for the actual official Instant Pot trivet that many of you will have, it's a 7-inch. So that wide pot means that accessories like this for the which are normally for the 6 quart or the 5 point. I'm forgetting now. Is it 5.7 or 5.8 litres? But anyway, the 6 quart, the sort of standard one most people have. The width of them and the diameter will be the same for the mini, leaving a bit of room around the edges. So yeah, that was the size anyway. So it is. Many of you've heard me say this before, probably that let me just get this bowl out. Show you. Got my mini here today. So when we put something in the mini or in any Instant Pot, we don't want it to fully reach the edges. There needs to be a bit of space. So if I cover this trivet up, we're not blocking the steam coming up. So these these ones that you get with it are a good guide for the width. But that's what it's all about. So don't jam a cake tin in, as some people have sometimes. I've kind of jammed a cake in for cheesecake, where there's just no room around the edges whatsoever. We don't want to do that. The Instant Pot will probably give you a fault if you do that and not come to pressure. And it's just not allowing the airflow that you need if you're steaming a cake. It's because it's basically pressure cooking. Now, here's a question. Instant Pot Mini 4 quart. This was a comment on how much steam does it let out while cooking? Is it RV friendly or not? So camper van, as we often say in the UK, or RV friendly. So yeah, it's a good question. It lets out as much steam as the others in a way, maybe a little bit less, but it does depend what you've got in it. So if there's a lot of steam built up because of the particular recipe you're using, then it's going to give out more steam. And other times, if you've let it sit for a few minutes, or it's just a small amount, it's going to have, less, more, depending on the recipe. But what I would say is it's more about how you are releasing the steam in terms of, I've taken them in caravans quite a lot in the UK here. And we've had it on hookup when we're tent camping as well, and had it in the back of in the boot of the car. So with any Instant Pot, really, it's many of the recipes we're doing this what's called natural release, where we're not releasing the steam manually, we're just letting it dissipate. So as long as your RV camper vans kind of relatively, you've got systems to keep the condensation down when cooking. That way is how I'm generally releasing steam if I'm camping or anything like that. I've said before here, but I grew up going in a caravan. I didn't grow up in a caravan, but going camping a lot in a caravan with manual pressure cookers. And my dad used to have this big, heavy pressure cooker. He had to run out of the caravan outside and everybody's coming out of their tents and caravans to see all the noise and the steam's about. With these electric ones, you're not going to probably carry them outside. So on the whole, I'd say for me, it would be about doing more of a natural release. But if you've got one of those kind of giant Winnebago things, you might have extractor fans and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's more about how you do it. What I would say is if you haven't used pressure cookers before, very, very many recipes, you can just let the steam come out slowly rather than letting the quick release gush up. And that's my preferred way of doing it if I'm in that kind of space. So I hope that helps. I don't know if anyone here does RVing or anything. Just check down. Nicola takes hers camping. Hi, welcome, Cheryl. Welcome, everyone that's just joined us. So, yeah, not seeing anything in particular. If anyone has any tips about RVing or camping, feel free to put those in the chat. That would be lovely. That's how I find it anyway. Right. Again, a question on the Instant Pot mini video, one of them. I'm tempted to buy this pot, but can't decide between the white and the black. Does the white discolour with different foods, e.g. curry, spag bol, foods that could stain? So I'm a messy cook, right? So I'm a good person to ask about this because I do splatter things everywhere. So far, I'm a heavy user of the mini. I've been using it, must be at least 4 or 5 months now, I think, and I've been using it a lot. And in fact, Mr. Cooking and Calm's been using it as well. She doesn't usually, so it's had a heavy use. You can, of course, see the splashes of curry on the white much more than on other colours, I should think. When it's when it's wet, when you've just got it on there, you haven't washed it. But so far, here it is. In fact, let me take off the question so you can see properly. See for yourself. So far, it's not stained. And I do a lot of turmeric, spag bol, those things you're mentioning. They're my kind of foods. And here's the lid. It's in pretty good nick. My sealing ring needs a de-stink. I've been making a lot of curries this week. So yeah, it hasn't so far. I'm quite expecting it over the years, depending on how long it lasts, to maybe go that kind of yellowy colour, which I don't like. But most white appliances over time start to sort of fade a little bit. What I have noticed, you might have noticed, I lifted it up there. If you look at that lettering, Instant Pot there, let's try and get it. There you can see. The Instant Pot lettering's coming off. I'm trying not to drop this on my keyboard. There. Oh, there. You see that? So these bits are covered in a kind of glossy cover. There's no text fading there, but the branding, if I ran my nail across there now, there would be an even bigger amount come off. It's just sort of, the lettering's just embossed on top, it seems. And I did wonder if there might be a bit of plastic over it, and that's what I was doing, but I can't seem to get anything off. So that is the only thing I've noticed. Now, that is probably the same whether you've got a white, a blue. We've got white, blue, and black in the UK. I think it might be called something fancy like charcoal now. And I think there's a pink one in the US. And actually, if people have got different Instant Pots with different colours in different countries, please put it in the chat because I'm super interested. But I know someone sent me a picture of their pink one from the US. It might have been the bigger one, but it's a classic, the Rio. Yeah, so I'm not finding so far that I'm having staining problems. And turmeric I use a lot, and that is one of the things that would tend to stain quite easily. Paprika I use a lot, not the app. Smoked paprika is in a lot of my recipes, and I splash this thing with food liberally. It's not like I've kept it clean. Of course, I've wiped it off today for you all. So yeah, so the choice is yours, really, with colours, deciding between black or white. The dirt's there anyway, I always say. So at least if it's white, I know my Instant Pot's dirty, and that gives me a nudge to give it a wipe. The black ones show up the dirt less, which might be, helpful to you in your situation. It's still there, isn't it? But in terms of actual staining, I've not found a problem so far. See our next one. I just bought myself an Instant Pot Mini, and so far it's been great. The thing is, I bought a set of sealing rings from Instant Pot, and they are too big. Could you let me know where you bought them? I have responded to this. I'm quite surprised about that, and I wondered if maybe Instant Pot have sent you an 8-quart size rather than a 6-quart. So, I mean, I guess my first thought would be to get onto them and tell them that the ones they've sent out are too big, because the official ones, that's what I always recommend, so that you get the fit. So that is a bit disappointing. Not heard of that problem before. So if you can get onto whichever Instant Pot official it is for you in your country. I think it was Spain. I don't know if you know whether they've got their own over there, but basically, in terms of where you can get them, they are out of stock at the moment on the UK Instant Pot site. You can see here. But what you can also see here, if you look at the title sealing rings, that it's the same sealing ring for the 3.8 litre, that's our mini 4-quart, or the 5.7 litre, which is the Instant Pot 6-quart version. So we know that it's the 6-quart one that you're looking for if you've got a mini. And yes, normally you can get them from the Instant Pot site. I've never seen them out of stock before, actually. But let me remove that one. I did see them. If you are on Amazon, I did see that they are in stock on the Instant Pot store on Amazon. So Instant Pot have got their official Amazon store on the main website. Visit the Instant Pot store, and that looks like the right shop to me, and it has the 2-pack, which is the ones we tend to get. I use the red one for yogurts and stuff like that, and I use the blue or the white one that came with it for savoury foods. But yeah, they seem to be in stock at the minute, so I hope that helps you sort that out. But I would, as I say, I would get onto wherever you bought them from, whichever Instant Pot site it was, and because they should fit, so they should exchange it if they've sent you the wrong ones. So I hope that helps and you get it sorted out. Let's remove that. Our next question. Another mini question. This was on the pasta 1-pot recipe that I did. How can I change this recipe to accommodate the 7.5-quart wide Rio? Oh yes, we've gone into the next section. So that's I think it is 7.5 quarts. So with the Rios or the classics, that you've got the little one that many of us got here called the mini. Then you've got that 6-quart size one, that sort of standard size, and then you've got this wide, shorter, large one, which is clearly 7.5 quarts. So it's another kind of wide and low one. I haven't got this one. But on the recipe front, just to try and give you a guide, the recipe for that one, my pasta thing, let me get it down. Yeah, so the recipe for that, it was a mini turkey pasta with lovely kind of cream cheese to flavour it up. Quite a simple recipe. So if I was trying to make this for a bigger Instant Pot, and I haven't done it, so I can't give you exacts, and I don't have that model to test it. But if I was going to do it, I would probably, with this recipe, which is some olive oil, some onions, carrots, celery, some turkey mince, some pasta shapes, and stock, basically, and then a couple of bits of flavouring. I would be happy starting out at least by just doubling that recipe. So you're going to get three, four kind of portions out of that, maybe a little more. So I'd double everything up. And then I've put in here a very exact amount of stock. I've put in 500 mils because I tested it a few times. But if I was doing this bigger, I would just be using pouring in the stock and just trying to get it so it's just above your pasta. We want it to be just covering the pasta shapes. So it may be doubled up. It may be a litre, 1,000 mils, or it may not need that much because it depends how the pasta lie in that wider bowl, how much you would need. And I would try it like that the first time. And if you're worried about it, put in a bit of extra water and for the first time, because you can bubble it off at the end. The pasta might be a bit overcooked, but it'd be fine. Um, uh, and then next time, you can reduce it. So like reduce it down by about 100 mils each time, just something where please do make a note when you're doing this. I sometimes make the perfect recipe and then I haven't made a note and I can't remember what I've done. I'm working very hard on taking more notes. But yeah, take a note if you're messing about with a recipe. So the amount of time, if you were doubling this up or cooking it in a larger pressure cooker, it would just stay the same. I would just use the same 4 minutes high pressure, then wait a minute just to prevent a bit of spatter from the spout, and then quick release it. So I'd keep the timing the same, keep the process the same. We're starting to cook the turkey mince by browning it off in the olive oil, and then the pressure cooker is finishing it. And I'm pretty sure that one should be okay. It's just about getting the right amount of liquid in. So I hope that gives you an idea on where to start. And if you crack it, I'd love to know, because we can all share it here. I can share it on the community wall. So don't hesitate to let me know if you adapt it. Okay, let me pop into the chat and see if there's anything, and I will come on to your questions shortly. Yeah, I've never owned a caravan, not since we were kids anyway. My family did, but I actually really like tent camping. But it is getting harder the older I get. Okay, just starring off a few of your comments that I'm going to come back to. Lots of cleaning tips here. This is really helpful. Yes, Cheryl, thank you. Yes, the 6-quart seal definitely fits this 4-quart mini. That's absolutely right. Okay. All right, so let me just go back and see some things that I've starred before I go on to the next bit. We've got welcome. I love dump and go recipes. Do you have any easy vegan ones to recommend? I don't do so many, what I think of anyway, as dump and go, but I tell you who is good for vegan recipes, you may already know. Nisha from Rainbow Plant Life on YouTube is vegan, and she's does a lot of all kinds of cooking now, but she started off on YouTube, and her very first recipe book was a vegan instant pot book, and she's got recipes that will be on the older part of her channel at Rainbow Plant Life. If you search that, it'll come up. And she would be the person I would say to go to for vegan. Dump and go, I don't do that many because I often start off by using the kind of classic carrot, onion, celery, mirepoix type thing for quite a lot of recipes for flavor, because my style of cooking is more to kind of cook a lot and get a lot in the freezer. So where you might dump and go, I'm cooking big style and getting things out of the freezer and then dumping it in, if you see what I mean. So I wouldn't say I've got that many that I would call like a really where you just throw everything in and turn the thing on. But lots of other creators have, and especially where people have young families. I don't know if they do many vegan, but is it 7 sisters or 6 sisters do instant pot cooking, and they do a lot of dump and go. I don't know if they do many vegans, but somewhere else you could have a look. And if anyone else has any tips here, please let us know for those. And click. Hi, welcome at GHC7400. Does the Mini and the Duo use the same amount of power? So I can use the same power cord for both parts. Well, the Mini 4-quart, which is the one I'm talking about, actually is I think someone said that in the chat already, but it's a fixed power cord, which is really annoying. They all seem to be coming with fixed power cords now. The original ones didn't. But even, I think I'm right, I think even my new Pro might be fixed. But this one is definitely fixed. And it's also probably a different wattage. This one's an 800 watts. So it's great for RV, off-grid type stuff. Usually they're more like 1,000. But it would, if you go to the Instant Pot's official site for your country, because they vary slightly between the US, UK, and other countries. You can download the instruction manuals, even though you haven't bought them yet, and they tell you what the wattage is. So the safest way is to do that on your country's Instant Pot website, in case I'm on some UK specific thing and I'm not aware of it. But yeah, I mean, actually, you may not even want to know that now I've told you it's a fixed cord. It works all right like this, to put it away if I was camping. It's not a really super stiff, it's not a super stiff cord, so you can do that. And you are meant to, if you're putting your Instant Pot away, you are meant to put it away with the lid upside down, otherwise the seal can get very stinky or water can be trapped in there. So in some ways it's still quite easy to kind of move around with that, but I agree, I wish it was a I wish it was a removable cord also. I'm really disappointed in that. So I hope that helps with that one. Let's see. Oh yeah, Marie, you'd already mentioned that it was a fixed cord. Thank you. Another question about the color. Does the white Mini get dirty quickly? Thanks, Tim. I've already blathered on about that enough. You get the sense of it, and you've seen it now. Yes, Ross. Hello, Queen. I recently got the 3-litre one. I'm concerned with recipes built for the 5.7 litre not working on the 3-litre. Yeah, quite a lot of recipes are for the 5.7 litre, and the 3-litre or 3-quart is really quite small. It's half the size of that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Lynn's and Life, the YouTube channel at Lynn's and Life. I know she has the 3-quart, and she's done quite a few recipe videos, I think. So yeah, it's a bit of a problem, and it will have inside the pot a maximum pressure level. So a line across it says maximum pressure level, and usually is it halfway? Yeah, half, 2/3 and a half. So you can use that as a guide to make sure you don't overfill it, and you need to do that for pressure cooking. Doesn't matter if you're using it for slow cooking and stuff, but for pressure cooking, those inner markings are important. So if you're kind of halving a recipe, but it's not always the same. It's not always about halving it or thirding it, 2/3ing it, because as I said when I was talking about the big one, the liquid amount can be slightly different, and some of them, if you just half a recipe, you might find it doesn't work. So it's a bit of trial and error, but always keeping in mind what the minimum liquid amount is for your particular model. So if you are half in a recipe, trying to make sure you've got enough liquid in there. And I always say this, but generally when I'm testing recipes, I'll put in a bit more water the first time, or stock, whatever the thin liquid is, if I'm pressure cooking. So because it's easier to get rid of water at the end than it is that you haven't got enough in and it burns. You know, you get the burn notice and you're having to kind of clear the bottom of the pan. So I prefer to kind of have something come out runny and then thicken it up than I do to end up getting a burn notice and whoop whoop. Nothing wrong with a burn notice, it's helping us out, but I still don't like getting them, and it does create a bit of extra cleaning if you get one usually. So yeah, a little bit problematic. So when you're searching, when you're Googling or searching on YouTube or wherever you search, put in that number, the 3 litre, 3-quart, as well as the word mini, because you'll start to get 4-quart ones now as well, just to confuse matters. Someone asking if they can use my affiliate link. I don't think you can when I'm only registered in. I'm a bit useless at all this money stuff. I think I'm only registered in the US, Canada, and the UK at the minute. Anyway, I do need to sort that out really, so that if people click my link, because it's meant to sort of go over to the other sites, so that if you are in another country that you see the equivalent, but it's not, I don't think it works that well for people, so thank you so much, but don't worry, I know it's kind of pennies. It's I mean, I'm grateful because it helps me keep the channel going, but it's not, you know, it's not a massive deal, but thank you so much for thinking of me and for your kindness. And one day I will find a way to make this channel work a bit better than it does financially. Just to respond, there's been a bit of a discussion here in the comments that I'd agree with. So yeah, I also bought the white because it's cute. That's why I bought it. It reminded me of early Apple products. Wonder if you can clean the exterior with Barkeeper's Friend. As Cheryl, I love Barkeeper's Friend. It's great for if you get your inner pot, the stainless steel pot that is, and you want to get it clean, you've got it in a real old mess. It's brilliant for making a paste and cleaning the inner pot, Barkeeper's Friend, but not on the outside. As others have said, it's going to just it's going to roughen it up too much. It will take off the rest of that lettering. It really doesn't need it. It doesn't sort of, the curries and whatnot don't stick to it. Just a damp cloth, as others have said, and you'll be absolutely fine with it. Yeah, and the stainless steel bowl is dishwasher safe. Let's see what else we've got. Cheryl said she has used Barkeeper's Friend and not scratched anything. So don't just listen to me. I'm very risk averse about things like that, and just about everything. Yeah, we've already answered this. The sealing rings, same size as, yes, they are the same size as the 5.7 Duo. That's 5.7 litres or 6-quart. The same sealing rings as for the 4-quart. So that's what this is showing you. If you look, it says sealing rings for the 3.8 litre and the 5.7 litre, exactly the same. So that's 6-quart and our 4-quart in Imperial. Same ones, and I've tested it, by the way, they do all fit. Nancy's giving a recommendation on the vegan recipe sauces. PB with J on YouTube is vegan. Great. That's come up a couple of times recently. I need to watch that channel. It sounds good. Oh, Six Sisters. Thank you. Cheryl's helping me out. Six Sisters Cooking, I think, is the YouTube channel where they do a lot of dump and go. But I'm not sure they do a lot of vegan, but there might be some on there. Aunt Chaka's mum is giving us a tip on cooking. So in the UK, there's a supermarket called Morrison's. I'm sure you've got this in the US as well, but has bags of frozen mirepoix. So bags of diced onion, carrot, and celery, this base that we use for a lot of cooking to get extra flavour and extra veggies, extra fibre. You can buy them pre-diced up and frozen. And when I had a broken wrist, I couldn't use my hand for quite a while. I used those too, and what a great shortcut as well to get things done quickly. Sort of half dump and go, maybe. Thank you for sharing that. Best cleaning tips for the ceiling ring. Have you been sharing that? Bicarbonate of soda, white vinegar. You'll find now it's in most of the Instant Pot manuals. They talk about pressure cooking, putting it on pressure cook, I think for 5 minutes or something with some white vinegar and water. But there's lots of different ways. So yeah, share your tips. They clean easily enough. It's more the sort of smells that hang around when you've been cooking highly flavoured foods, just as mine is at the moment. I just picked it up and was like, oh, I need to do my clean. And some of you talking about putting in the dishwasher. The Instant Pots used to be dishwasher safe, including the lids. I've noticed that it really varies between models now. I was looking this up for the Mini in the UK. The Mini lid doesn't say dishwasher safe in the manual, but the next size up, or it might even have been that wide one, said the lid was dishwasher safe. So, you know, check your manuals. They used to be Instant Pot used to be more metal, and now they're more plastic. So there's a lot more plastic on the exterior than there used to be, which at some point I'll bring out some of my old ones and show you. It's a bit annoying for me because I've got these little magnet things that I can write on to remind me of timings, and I used to just stick them on my Instant Pot. But on the Mini, they just fall off because it's not magnetic. Our fridge is covered in a cupboard door, our new fancy fridge. So I'm losing out on where to put my magnets. I'll leave you talking to each other about that. Yeah, Charles' mum said, I must admit, I popped my mini lid into the dishwasher last week, and it seems to be still speaking to me. Yeah, I mean, if you are doing it, it would be it would be one of those where they say the top rack. That's what it used to say for them. I don't know why a very similar looking one would say it is dishwasher safe on one side and not the other, but I don't know. You've just got to make your own decisions on that, and know that, you know, warranties and all that depend on you following the instructions. Seals definitely go in the dishwasher, but doesn't usually take away the smell if it's deeply ingrained as mine is. Okay, let's go back. I think I've had all your questions there. And what else have we got? Here we go. So this was the last couple of few questions here. Let's put that up. Did you cook your chicken in the new Mini? I was wondering if it was possible to get a smallish chicken in the pot. That's because I was showing my meal prep in the week on a live. And then I had another related question. I've had a few in recently about chicken. Can you tell me what size chicken you typically buy? And I think this is someone in the US. Our supermarket chickens over here tend towards the enormous, but occasionally I see chickens of 4 pounds or so that I think would fit into a 6 quart. So two different kind of pressure cookers we're talking about here. Let me take that off and add this in. So on one of the videos in my early Instant Pot Mini series, I compared the Instant Pot Mini 4 quart with the 6 quart. It was the Duo Plus Whisper Quiet, it's called here in the UK, Duo Plus. And when I tried to cook in the UK, a medium chicken is somewhere around 1.5, 1.6 kilos in most supermarkets, I think, which is about £3.5. And for me, when I tested that in my mini forecourt, it was too high. I don't want the chicken to be touching anywhere near the pressure cooker mechanisms under the lid, so it was sticking out above. But I could easily get that size chicken very easily into a 6-quart, so 1.6, £3.5. I think I have cooked a few small chickens in the mini, but they're more like 1.2, 1.3, so really quite small chickens. Still great, especially if you're cooking for one. I'm a big believer in cooking the whole bird so that you can make stock afterwards. You get more for your money, and you get a mix of meat, and they cook up. It cooks up really well for being able to get easily off the bone and into your fridge for meal prep. That's how I tend to use it. So I'm thinking 1.2 to 1.4 should probably fit, but height matters, because again, it's all about the height with the mini. And I've had some chickens that were really high, even though they weighed the same, and some were lower. And what we don't want to do is sort of squash the lid down to press it down, because we mustn't affect that mechanism. Now, I usually, for ease of getting the chicken out, I nearly always am putting my chicken on the trivet, this thing that comes with your Instant Pot. So I am raising it slightly, but just a little tip. Let's get this out of the way, actually. So I'm using the trivet sometimes if I'm just doing a chicken, I haven't got veg underneath, just for ease of lifting the chicken out. But if it's tight on height, that's the proper way to put the trivet in. I'm not really bothered if it touches the bottom, because I've got water in there. You can always turn it upside down to give yourself just a tiny little bit more height to fit your chicken in. Depending on how you're doing it and what kind of recipe that is. And if you do, as I did, when I was trying out a bigger chicken, it just doesn't fit for pressure cooking. All is not lost, because you can, if you've got a pan lid that fits, or you just decide to use slow cooking anyway. I just put my glass lid on. My glass lid has it's like it was more domed, so it gives you that little bit extra room. And I cooked it up twice. I've done this slow cook recipe from Board of Lunch, at Board of Lunch on Instagram, I think, maybe on YouTube as well, where it's a really lovely chicken, and managed to stuff in a couple of sweet corn cobs down the side, a couple of halves anyway, and so I could use slow cook. So you're not going to waste the chicken if it doesn't fit. Also, you can use it in the air fryer, the oven, of course, or something else altogether. But that is as best as I can kind of tell you. I know that the largest one for a 6-quart, because I've tested this, you can get in up to 4.5 pounds chicken. Instant Pot, 2-quart. Oh, that should say 2 kilograms, 2 kilos. So for the 6-quart Instant Pot, I've got a little video about this somewhere. I tested it, and the biggest one I could get in and cook it effectively was 2 kilograms, which is just under 4.5 pounds. That fits fine in the 6-quart. Oh, I probably confused you all there. Hopefully that's clear. So that is chicken. Let me just check if there's any questions about that. Yes, cooking whole chickens lasts a few meals, absolutely. Use baking soda. Susan, I guess you can buy a whole chicken and cut it to fit, since the meat falls apart anyway. Yes, you could. Good idea. I guess some folks cook it whole and brown in the oven for browning. If I'm going to well, first of all, yes, of course you can joint a chicken. You can cut the chicken down so that it fits in, as Cheryl says. Jointing the chicken is something I really want to get better at. I find it quite hard. I've never really quite got to that confident level of doing it, but that is on my list as one of my learning things. And those of you who are into chickens, which I love, and it's the main protein food that me and Mr. Cooking and Calm both eat, because we eat very differently. But so we have a lot of chicken. But this week on YouTube, there was an America's Test Kitchen video by Lam Lam about chicken, jointing a chicken, cooking the chicken, trimming the skin off. It's so good. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I actually watched it in parts because it was so, if you're not confident like me at jointing chickens and understanding where you trim bits of fat off and stuff, it was very detailed and very friendly video. They're fantastic. I'm a big fan of America's Test Kitchen for anything to do with methods and precision things, because they really do test their stuff. So yes, absolutely. And then what I tend to do nowadays, when I have the Instant Pot Duo crisp, I've still got the Pro crisp, I used to cook a whole chicken and then swap to the air fryer lid. And in the US, some models you can buy a separate air fry lid as well. And so I do that to crisp it off, and it works so well. It's a really, really nice, but it takes up a lot of space, that 8-quart, for me in my smaller kitchen. But nowadays, if I'm going to have it like that, I want it roasted with crispy skin, I tend to transfer it to the air fryer. I've got a big air fryer, so I can just put it in there on full whack for 10 minutes. And again, that's a good reason for putting it on a trivet, because you can lift it out and put it straight into the air fryer drawer and give it a blast to make that chicken nice and crispy skin. But often, to be honest, I'm often doing it to kind of get ahead, and I really like Instant Pot kind of steamed pressure cooked chicken, because it comes off the bone, it's beautifully cooked, it's really moist. I just find it a much better version of chicken for meal prep, whereas I like air fried chicken for just a traditional roast chicken kind of dinner. Is nice, but I find pressure cooked chicken much better for meal prep and getting that chicken off the bone. And also, of course, you're cooking at a very high temperature, so you're releasing some of that collagen and getting some of those nutrients out and into your broth that you can use afterwards as a stock, right? So thank you for that. How long roughly to cook a, oh, I just saw like that dormouse. Thank you for that. Hi everyone, how long roughly to cook chicken in the mini? So it depends on the size, but if you're just doing it straight, it'd be somewhere 20 probably. 25 is a standard thing, but they're quite small in the mini. So 20, but use an instant read thermometer to check it's cooked. I always do that. So, and if you're not sure, go a bit above and then start reducing it down. That's just for the pressure cook time, by the way. It still has to come to pressure, and then I usually let mine rest for 5 minutes or so before releasing the steam. If I'm doing chicken, just to let it settle a bit so it's not all tensed up when I release the steam. Yeah, Nicola gets hers in the pressure cooker and then finish it in the oven to crisp the skin, especially if you've already got the oven on. Really good use of that. Chaka's mom uses a slow cooker for cooking chicken in the summer so the flat doesn't get too hot. This is the advantage of slow cookers and pressure cookers and stuff, is that we're not putting the oven on, especially if you live in a hot climate, or as we are increasingly experiencing in the UK, we have more heat than we are used to in this country. So yeah, let's try and keep our ovens off and not add to the misery. Yeah. Other people talking about the air fryer. Cheryl says I'm an appliance addict. I'm in that club too, as you can probably tell. And Joyce is saying, my son-in-law is calling me Mrs. Gadget. I just love kitchen gadgets. Well, you're in a safe place here because I think most of us here enjoy getting, having a bit of fun with the gadgets and getting a bit of help with our cooking. Okay, so we're nearly there now for today. What time is it? Oh, 6 o'clock. Yeah, right on time. I think the only one I've got left is just this question, which is a very quick answer. Do I ever use UHT milk and the cold start yogurt method? And I thank you for the channel. So no, personally, I don't. I tend to use pasteurized milk, so I do the pasteurizing, but lots of people use the UHT milk. I get mixed comments about this. Some people say it works really well, and some people say it doesn't thicken up as much. And I often wonder whether that's because the heating the milk is changing the proteins in it when we do that pasteurized, but not fully sure. It's just about experimenting, really. So lots of people do it with UHT, which is long life milk for those of you that aren't in the UK. Ultra heat treated milk, so it's already pre-pasteurized. It's more than pasteurized. Okay, so that is us for today. Thank you again for coming. I am going to be doing rice. The rice videos are underway for my next proper video, and this YouTube challenge I've been doing to go live all the time has been really hard, but also I'm really enjoying the connection with you all. So I'm working out how to continue, and I think I'd really like to continue these Q&As or something like this at this time, which so many of you are coming along to, and I love the connection. So I'm intending to find some way to keep going live. Definitely for the next few weeks, I'll definitely schedule this slot in. So keep an eye out for that. And then I'll work out what to do about other things. I just need to work out how to fit everything in. I don't want to be not making my main videos because I'm rushing to do all these lives that YouTube set me tasks to do. But we're nearly there. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. I love seeing you all chatting and supporting each other. And I hope you're going to do something nice this weekend, something that brings you a bit of joy. Someone sent me a photo today of a tiny robin in a tree, and robins, and said, robins just sing because they can, it's not necessarily purposeful. And I thought, oh yeah, just sing because you can, just dance because you can, or whatever it is that brings you a bit of joy. So have a lovely weekend all. I hope you get to cook something nice, and don't spend too much time cleaning your Instant Pot. More time cooking, less time cleaning. And I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you.